Welcome to the sequel of the most popular video on this channel by far. And who do I have to thank? My sister. If it weren't for my sister, you probably wouldn't have subscribed to my channel and watched my other videos. My sister is the reason that so many people are subscribing. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers now. Thank all of you who have. And again, thank you for my sister for making the video with me that became by far the most popular video. It was called 23andMe, My Sister's DNA Test Results Are Different Than Mine, Spanish and German. This was published on October 24th, 2017. So you're watching the sequel to that video, which at this point has had 132,500 views, 552 comments, most of them implying that we have different parents, 491 thumbs up, 161 thumbs down. It's important and necessary that we do a follow-up to that video, which I will put the link in the description so you can go back and watch the original. But in the original video, which again was like what, 7 months ago that we did it, we didn't know what we were doing because we were still new to having taken DNA tests. I went through MyHeritage, my sister went through 23andMe, and we read our results and we found out how different they are. And I'm sure, I haven't even seen the video. Have you watched it?
I watched it in the beginning just to read what people were saying about it, and it wasn't nice.
So I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I'm sure I said a lot of things that were ignorant just by default, because 7 months ago I think we all knew less about DNA test results and how they come out. Because like in theory, you could take one DNA test from the same company and then do another one 5 minutes later, and those results could be even different there because it's more of a sample or an estimate of what's going on there. We now understand that half of our DNA comes from each of our parents. So it's possible, especially if you have parents like ours where our dad is mainly British and German and our mom is like Mexican, Sephardic, Jewish, Middle Eastern, stuff like that, that it's possible that one of the children could get more of that and the other could get more of the other parent, which is exactly what happened in our case. So there you go. That's the thing we didn't know 7 months ago. And that's why we were shocked and amazed. Okay? So I think it's important that we go through our results again and you can see why we were confused before we knew that we both get half of our DNA from each parent, but it could be a completely different half from each parent. So I'm going to have you go first. You're 23andMe, right?
I am. But anyone who saw the first one, my results updated when our dad did 23andMe. So whatever I said 7 months ago, they're different than that now. British and Irish is 21%, French and German 17, Italian is 8.7. Back then I didn't have any show up, but now I do. How much do you read through? Just the highlights?
Yeah, we'll do the Ashkenazi Jewish.
Yeah, just 0.3 Ashkenazi Jewish, 1.6 Balkan, 8.7 Iberian, and then a lot of it went into like a broad Southern European category.
Did you do West Asian? You mentioned West Asian.
Native American is 11.8. Where was the West Asian?
Of course, that would be
4.8 of West Asian.
Okay, so in West Asian, my understanding of after I Googled it was like Iran, Iraq, Turkey, which in my mind is Middle Eastern, but they say West Asian. Okay, and then of course the Native American is actually via Mexico because our...
It says that.
Yeah, there we go. So 11.8%. Okay, so that's your overview. So that makes a lot of sense, knowing our parents' DNA. But then here's mine, and this is through MyHeritage. So for me, I'm 21.6% Central American, which is the same thing as your Native American. So how much was your Native American again?
11.8.
And mine's 21.6. So I've got nearly double the amount of Native American, or Aztec, Mayan, however you want to say that, than my sister. As far as going back to kind of where she started, European. I'm 37.4% North and Western European, but the way they differentiate, they say that I'm 0% English, Finnish, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, and Scandinavian, which by default means that 37.4%, more than a third of my DNA, is by default going to be places like Belgium, Germany, France, Netherlands. But it's definitely not any of that British DNA. None of the British DNA showed up, which when my dad took his test, that was like 3/4 of what he was. And none of that showed up on mine. And how much was your, like English, for example?
21.
Yeah, and I've got like 0 for all that. Okay, so for Iberian, the Spanish Portuguese, I show 31.8%. So nearly a third of me is Iberian. And again, our grandmother was a first generation Mexican American. That's quite a high. If you go on that math, that implies our grandma was like 82% Native American via Mexico. But how much did you show of Spanish or?
8.7.
So you only showed 8.7 and I showed 31.8%. That's a major difference there. I show 8.4% Eastern European. Of that is 2.3% Balkan. How much Balkan were you?
1.6.
Okay, so I'm about twice as much Balkan as you. We already mentioned the Central American or Native American, that I'm twice as much as you. I showed 0.8% Middle Eastern, and you showed West Asian. I mean, I guess depending on how you look at it.
2.5.
Okay, it's a 2.5. Actually, there's a breakdown of West Asian on here, and I showed 0%. Now, let's go back to the fact that our mom shows 15.2% Sephardic Jewish. She went through the same one as me, MyHeritage. She's 15.2% Sephardic Jewish. I'm 0% Jewish according to my tests. Tell me again how Jewish you are according to your test.
It says Ashkenazi Jewish, 0.3.
So, wow.
Just barely.
Barely.
Yeah.
And our mom is 15.2%. That's so much. And then we got so little of that. So I think that's very interesting. But I still say though, does this mean that these tests are not accurate? Or does that say one test is more accurate than others? Based on what I've learned in the last 7 months, it has more to do with you're taking a sample of an estimate of your DNA based on half of your DNA from one parent and half of the other. There are so many different things, especially when you've got a genetic breakdown that's as diverse as ours is. I mean, because technically, we're biracial because of the Native American part. You know, nearly a quarter of me, of my DNA, is from a different race, and then for you, over 10% is of a different race, right? 10, 11 point? Yeah. So even that, I think, is going to mix things up. So I would say if the children have DNA that's more similar already, then I think it's maybe you're going to be similar there. But I think because of how dynamic it was, it really muddied the waters and made things more complicated for that and more diverse. And there were just more possibilities, more ways it could break up. So there you go. Here's the sequel 7 months later. Is there anything that we need to add to this that we're forgetting? Because granted, here's what's going to happen. 7 more months from now, we'll probably have to make another sequel because of how many people will say how ignorant we were and all the dumb things we said that we didn't know today when we filmed this. And that's okay, because that's how it is with DNA results. And the way that things are evolving, our understanding of things, not just ours, but yours too, is all changing. And that's what this channel is all about. So we're constantly evolving, and we're going to learn a lot more stuff in the meantime. I'm sure I've probably said 5 things in these 8 minutes that were wrong that I just don't know are wrong yet. So thank you for commenting, because that's how we learn things. And also thank you for subscribing to our channel, because we're almost at 1,000, and at that point we can start making money off the channel again. So thank you for all those who have subscribed. Okay, are we leaving out anything?
I'm sure we are, and they'll let us know in the comments.
Okay, and we'll make a little bonus follow-up to this after this. So, all right, there you go. There's your sequel. If you haven't seen the original video, like I've barely seen it, just look in the description, click on that link, and you can see how dumb and ignorant and naive we were.